Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, David Brains, and I've been joined by two of the mutant Snake Eyes, Thomas and Jamie. Good morning, gents.
Good morning. How's it going?
Very good. Really pleased to have these guys here. The last time we had a conversation, we were at Warhammer World and we were quite, well, one of you were quite drunk.
I was quite drunk. I had a few too many.
We were just throwing around ideas for today's game.
Yep.
And we came up with some crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game.
It is going to be a good game. Now, before we go any further, you've both come up from London this morning.
Yeah, Southeast London. So
good stuff. Nice early start, but we've got here in good time. We're set up and we are ready to go. We've got Raven Guard versus Emperor's Children. And the unique twist on the game is that we've got complete infantry.
Yeah, not a single walker or nothing with an armor value. So it's going to be
it was really
bloody. Yeah.
Really difficult to try and make a list when you take away all of the armour and the walkers.
Well, 3,000 points of infantry is a huge amount of models on the board. We do have 2 Primarchs, though, which is really cool. But how many troops on the board, roughly?
I think
I've got about 80-ish, something
I've got
like
about
that.
the same. So there's 160-ish models on the board.
That is crazy.
So
and
quite a few.
Yeah, and we have got a unique twist on the game as well to try and get through this game, because it will be quite a long game. We're playing Cold, Void, Poisoned Air. So the rules from Zone Mortalis, we're using those, and we're on an airless moon, essentially.
Yeah, so...
And we're fighting over like an unloading depot, I guess.
Yeah, and no one has Artificer armour. Well, Squad Sergeants haven't taken Artificer armour, so everything's going to be dying to Renzi.
Yeah.
Pretty bloody first few turns anyway. It's like shooting takes out quite a lot quite quickly, I think.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have bought such a close combat heavy armour.
Let's not forget though, if you have Artificer armour or you have a 2-up armour saver, i.e. Terminators, you are not affected by the Cold, Void, Poisoned Air rules. The Terminators are relatively safe.
And the Destroyers, because they've got their Void Hardened armour as well, so they're not affected by the rending Poisoned Air shenanigans. So.
Now, we do have a rules query which we need to address here as well. So we're talking about the Mordathan.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
So the Mordathan have the Sniper special rule.
Yes.
Which is not the Rending special rule. So they don't gain any bonuses from they don't gain any benefit from the Cold and the Void.
Correct.
Because they're a Sniper. The query was, does it then become Rending from...
Is it Fatal Strike?
From their Fatal Strike, they get to use once per game. Their Sniper Rifles then become Rending on a 5 and a 6.
Yes.
And it's that sort of overrides the Sniper rule. And then do they gain the benefit from the Cold and the Void? So does it become a 4-up Rending?
So we've poured over this morning, and we're in agreement that we're going to go to a 4-up Rend.
We are, yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Absolutely, yeah. Anything to cause more death and destruction. Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
Because otherwise it kind of defeats the purpose of Fatal Strike if they get the 5-up anyway, and so...
Yeah, well, and the wording of the Cold and the Void is it's +1 to Rend, or it improves the Rend. So... But it's only for that turn, because it'd be a bit ridiculous if they...
That would be pretty cool. Yes, it's just once per game Fatal Strike affecting the Mordathan, and they will rend on a 4. So that's the only real tricky query we've got about the whole game. If we have a look at your deployment, we've got Vanguard Strike, which is quite thematic. Got these lines of purple, lines of black on this dark ground we're here. And we're playing War of Lies.
War of Lies, one of my favourite missions of all time.
It is cool. And I think it will throw the game in, it will give the game a little bit of balance as well, because there is going to be a ton of infantry coming off this board every turn.
And quite a lot of troops and things that can score. So I think it's going to be quite interesting to see what survives. And
most of our armies are scoring.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think most of them either are scoring or have implacable advance. So
I'm
just looking at it thinking how long the movement phases are going to take.
It's going to be a little while.
So they're not going to be quick.
But you've both brought your Primarch as well, which is really cool to see. And we're going to try, not that we'll try and engineer it, but we'll try and get those Primarchs into squads rather than at each other, which would be quite cool, because Primarchs do blend the Marines quite easily.
Yes, especially Fulgrim in the challenge with his extra attacks. With all the initiative steps he beats people, Sergeants just die ridiculously quickly to him.
Yes, I think Primarch fights are great, or Primarch duels are great, but they're locked in combat for the rest of the game pretty much, unless one of you either rolls really badly or really well. And it's not very interesting to watch two Primarchs smash it out. Or it might be for some people, but for me, I would prefer having the Primarchs just go around blending Marines and showing actually why a Primarch is so powerful.
A good way of mitigating a Primarch is with another Primarch, and if you're in a really tough game and you need to just get rid of that throughout the battlefield, you just stick them two together and you can more or less guarantee they'll tie each other up. But we will try and get them into squads just to see what happens there. But I mean, it's a case of 3s and 2s pretty much.
Yeah. 3s, 2s, take them off the board. There are a lot of apothecaries though, so
you might be able to.
I think we've each got 3, so we might be able to save some on our pain rolls. So I'm quite excited that I'm using my Knight Errands as well.
Yeah. Now there is a secret rule for that.
Yeah. So he gets to pick an Oath of Moment. There's a various list from making sure that he needs to be in the deployment zone or any of his deployment zone. He needs to kill the enemy warlord. If there's a Primarch on the board, that Primarch needs to be dead by the end of the game. So I've picked one of them. And
in secret.
In secret.
And that'll be on the bottom of the screen.
Pop up from the bottom of the screen. But if I don't achieve that, I cannot win. I can draw, but I can't win. So
it's tough.
I'm going to pick something ridiculously difficult.
Are you going to slay Fulgrim?
It's a bold one, especially in the challenge. If you pick that one,
he doesn't have to kill them.
Oh, does he not?
No, it just if the Primarch just has to be dead.
Oh, okay.
There's two. There's one that he has to kill the warlord, or if there's a Primarch, that Primarch has to be dead.
Oh, that's not too bad.
So I'm likely going to pick the one that Fulgrim has to die because
Fulgrim
has to die. But we'll
find out. See if he changes his mind.
I've got until we sort of start until we start to pick. I'm still contemplating between one of the two, but it's most likely going to be that I'm going to have to kill Fulgrim.
And you've deployed everything on the board, is that right?
Yeah, no reserves, just straight out. So get in the face and just try and kill as much as I can. I think I've gone for more shooty than combat-y, so hopefully I'll be able to whittle them down. Cacophony always do me quite well, so if I can explode a couple of the squads, that will just make my life a lot easier, I think.
Yeah,
it's those fear checks, isn't it?
Yeah.
minus however many I kill, and then I roll a d6 and you just die.
Yeah, it's really cool. There are 5 objectives on the battlefield, and I'll show you those in a quick whiz around the board. There's one in the centre board, and we've pretty much got a 5 configuration going on. But so one's guided by the train, one in each bunker this side, and on the far end there's some ruined buildings. We've got them over there. So remember, we've got to be on that objective the last turn of the game to score it, and then we go to a roll, which is always the beauty of War of Light. You think you're ahead, and if you roll badly, you're buggered. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I remember the last time I was on the channel, I played Sam, and it tied at the end because of War of Lies.
It did.
So it's
Death Guard, wasn't it?
Yeah, Death Guard. It's just such a fun, unpredictable game to play.
It's a game of highs and lows. Absolutely. All right, we're deployed. We are ready to go. We're going to look at these lists. Now, who's going first?
You're going first, but you have a seize if you want.
I'm going to try and seize, obviously.
Why not?
So we're a little bit unprepared. Again, I always forget to do this, but we've got a little tray here. So do you want to try and seize? I appreciate you can't see this just yet.
I'll grab a dice.
Planning and all that.
Big dice as well.
Well, go on, give us it.
Let's see if you do it. No.
So I'm quite pleased with that. I've got so many guns.
All right, so we'll do the armies, then we'll move on to Raven Guard turn 1.
3,000 points of Raven Guard, led by Corvus Corax, Master of the Raven Guard, the Liberator, Chooser the Slain, the Shadowed Lord. The army is running the Decapitation Strike Rite of War, and Corax cannot take a Warlord trait. HQs for the Raven Guard are Corvus Corax. He is equipped with the Sable Armour, the Panoply of the Raven Lord, Frag Grenades, Shroud Bombs, the Corvodyne Pinions, and 2 Architect Pistols. He is the army's Warlord. The army's compulsory HQ slot is a Chaplain. He is equipped with Power Fist, Artificer Armour, Jump Pack, Refractor Field. His Crozius Arcanum is represented by a Power Sword. The non-compulsory HQ slot for the Raven Guard is a Knight Errant. He's equipped with Artificer Armour, Iron Halo, Paragon Bolter, Paragon Bolt Pistol, and Mastercrafted Power Sword. He's also got a Jump Pack. He knows the Hemorrhage and Endurance Psychic Powers from Biomancy. First elite slot for the Raven Guard is an Apothecarian detachment. There are 3 Apothecaries, all equipped with Jump Packs. One Apothecary will be joining one of the Assault Squads, another Apothecary will be joining the other Assault Squad, and the 3rd Apothecary will be joining the Dark Furies. Second elite slot for the Raven Guard is a 10-man Terminator squad. The Sergeant is armed with twin Raven's Talons. 3 members of the squad are armed with twin Lightning Claws. A member of the squad is armed with a Heavy Flamer and a single Lightning Claw.
They are all in Tartarus pattern Terminator armour. 3 of the Terminators have power fists and are equipped with a Volkite charger. 2 members of the squad are equipped with chain fists and combi bolters. The third elite slot for the Raven Guard is a 10-man destroyer squadron. They have all taken jump packs. 2 of the members of the squad have taken missile launchers with suspensor webs, and they are using rad missiles. The sergeant has taken a power axe and is equipped with a single Phosphex bomb. 4th elite slot for the Raven Guard is a 10-man Mordathan strike squad. They have taken 7 sniper rifles, and 3 of them are equipped with missile launchers with suspensor webs. They are also equipped with shroud bombs. The first and second troops choices for the Raven Guard are 2 identical assault squads. They both have 15 Marines. The sergeant is armed with a Raven's Talon. 3 members of the squad are armed with power weapons. There are 2 power swords and a power axe in each squad. The first and only fast attack slot for the Raven Guard is a 10-man squad of Dark Furies. They are all armed with Raven's Talons. The squad sergeant has Artificer armour as standard.
3,000 points of Emperor's Children, led by Fulgrim the Illuminator, the Phoenician, the Prefector of Chemos, High Lord of the Emperor's Children. The army is running the 3rd Company Elite Rite of War, and Fulgrim's Warlord trait is Child of Terror. First HQ for the Emperor's Children is Julius Kaiseron, captain of the 1st Company. He is a Praetor in Tartarus pattern Terminator armour, equipped with an Iron Halo, Sonic Shriekers, Digi-Lasers, and a pair of master-crafted Lightning Claws. He is running with a Terminator command squad. The standard bearer is equipped with a grenade harness and a power fist, and the 2 chosen both are equipped with chain fists and combi bolters. The second HQ slot for the Emperor's Children is a Legion Champion. He is equipped with a jump pack, Artificer armour, Sonic Shriekers, a bolt pistol, a mastercrafted Paragon blade, and a refractor field. Third and final HQ for the Emperor's Children is a Legion Herald. He is equipped with Artificer armour, a refractor field, a bolt pistol, and a power fist. First elite slot for the Emperor's Children is an Apothecarian detachment formed of 3 apothecaries, all with augury scanners. 2 of the apothecaries will be joining the tactical squads, and the 3rd apothecary will be joining the cacophony. The second elite slot for the Emperor's Children is a 5-man Palatine Blade squad. The Palatine Prefector is equipped with a Phoenix Spear, as is one of the remaining Palatine warriors, and the entire squad has Artificer armour, jump packs, and Sonic Shriekers. The final elite slot for the Emperor's Children is a 10-man Phoenix Terminator squad. They are all equipped with Phoenix Spears and Sonic Shriekers. First and second troop choices for the Emperor's Children are 2 identical 20-man tactical squads. Each squad is equipped with additional close combat weapons, Vexillas, and Sonic Shriekers. The sergeants have Phoenix Spears. Third troop choice for the Emperor's Children is a 10-man tactical support squad, all equipped with Volkite calivers. Final troop choice for the Emperor's Children is a 10-man cacophony squad. Last but not least, Lord of War for the Emperor's Children is Fulgrim the Illuminator. He is equipped with the Gilded Panoply, the Blade of the Lear, and Firebrand.
Raven Guard turn 1 movement phase. We'll start with the assault squad, moved up 12 inches towards the Emperor's Children tactical squad. The second assault squad moved up 12 inches as well. Terminators moved through cover 6 inches. They are eyeing up Fulgrim and the Phoenix Terminator squad down the centre of the board. Corax hopped up onto the bastion or the bunker to try and gain some vantage points. The Dark Fury stayed still. They are waiting to see where the Palatine Blades and the Phoenix Terminators go, and they'll react to that threat. The Destroyers move 12 inches towards the tactical squad on the left flank. They're hopefully going to pop some shots off with their rad missiles. Raven Guard psychic phase, turn 1. The Knight Errant manifested his psychic abilities to try and cast Hemorrhage on the Emperor's Children tactical squad. Unfortunately, he did not or was not able to manifest his power. Raven Guard turn 1 shooting phase. Thanks to Corax's Sire of the Raven Guard, which allows all units to run their maximum distance, the 2 assault squads ran 6 inches, trying to hug the cover and get a bit closer to the tactical squad on the right flank. First unit to fire in the shooting phase was the Destroyer squad. Only 1 Rad missile was in range of the tactical squad on the left flank, and he loosed a missile. He hit, he caused 4 wounds at AP3, which would have shredded the tactical squad. However, the Emperor's Child Apothecary managed to make 3 Feel No Pain saves, so only 1 fell. The Raven Guard Mordathan used their Fatal Strike to shoot at the Phoenix Terminators and Fulgrim. The missile launchers failed to take any of the Phoenix Terminators down. However, the sniper rifles with their 4-up rending, thanks to Cold in the Void, managed to slay 3 Phoenix Terminators. End of turn 1, the Raven Guard have moved up, which is huge. They've taken a couple of objectives and they've taken a couple of the Phoenix Terminators down, which is good to weaken that big scary unit. So they'll hopefully continue to make some ground and gain some board control. Emperor's Children turn 1 movement phase. Generally across the board, the army has moved up quite aggressively, hoping to get in range with their guns to whittle down the Raven Guard. On the left flank, the tactical squad have stayed still, lining up for a big 20-man squad, Fury of the Legion, against the Raven Guard assault squad in front of them. Emperor's Children turn 1 shooting phase. The tactical squad on the right flank opened up at the Destroyer squad. There's 19 shots, 13 hits and 8 wounds. 2 of them went through the Destroyer armour, killing 2 of them off. Next to open up was the tactical support squad with Volkite Calivers. They aimed at the Mordathan squad in revenge for their killing of their Phoenix Terminator brethren. The squad scored 12 hits and 10 wounds, one of which was a rend. The squad managed to kill 4 of the Mordathan squad. Unfortunately, didn't cause any more casualties due to deflagrate, and the squad passed their leadership test. The Cacophony let loose with their guns at the Raven Guard assault squad in the centre of their lines. 1 Marine died to Gets Hot, but they scored 13 hits, killing 7 Marines, meaning the Raven Guard squad had to pass a leadership check on a 2, which they failed, and 2 more Marines died as a result of biopsychic shock. The squad then failed their leadership check and ran back a huge 12 inches. Last but by no means least, the tactical squad on the left flank furied at the assault squad opposite it. 19 bolt guns shot twice, killing 8 of the Raven Guard assault marines. Luckily for Tom, though, they passed their leadership check. Overall, turn 1 for the Emperor's Children was a huge turn, causing a huge number of casualties on both assault squads, and forcing one of them to flee was a huge win, so they're hopefully out of the game now. Turn 2, movement phase for the Raven Guard. The entire army has moved up towards the Emperor's Children line. The assault squad on the right flank with the Knight Errant has moved towards the tactical squad. As they can't overwatch this turn because they freed before, it should be a nice easy charge. Corax is hugging the cover, hopefully going to get charge off next turn into some juicy Emperor's Children. The assault squad at the far end of the battlefield rallied, and they have moved 3 inches. The Terminators moved through cover a measly 2 inches, just enough to get one or the other side of the barricade. The Dark Furies have moved over as well. They're going to go and try and support the Destroyers on the left-hand flank. The Mordathan have stayed still, lining up some shots on Fulgrim and his Phoenix Terminator squad. The Destroyers on the far side of the battlefield have moved up to try and get in charge distance of the tactical squad. Psychic phase turn 2 for the Raven Guard was a huge success. The Knight Errant managed to manifest endurance on him and his squad, which gives them Relentless, Eternal Warrior, and a 4-up Feel No Pain. He did perils and has lost a wound, so he's down to 1 wound now. He also cast Force on himself to give himself instant death, which will hopefully nullify some of the Feel No Pain the Emperor's Children will get. Start of the Raven Guard turn 2 shooting phase. The Dark Furies ran 6 inches thanks to Corax's Sire of the Raven Guard, and they're coming to try and help out on the left flank. The Terminators also ran 6 inches onto the other side of the barricade. Corax ran 5 inches to the other side of the bunker. The Knight Errant used his Paragon Bolter to shoot at the Emperor's Children. He scored 3 hits. One was a precision shot that he placed on the Apothecary, and one was a rend, and one was just a regular wound. The Apothecary did not take a wound, but 2 more of the Emperor's Children Tactical Marines were slain. The next to shoot for the Raven Guard was the Mordathan Strike Squad. They shot at the Tactical Support Squad on the other side of the board. Their sniper rifles managed to kill 3 of the Marines, and the crack missile took out another one. They failed their leadership test and they ran 8 inches. Next to shoot for the Raven Guard was the Destroyers. They unloaded everything, their bolt pistols and their Rad missile launcher, into the Emperor's Children Tactical Squad. Unfortunately, only one of them was slain, as the Apothecary seems to be very good at reviving people. Turn 2, assault phase for the Raven Guard. The Destroyers charged into the Emperor's Children Tactical Squad. They were overwatched, and 1 destroyer fell to the bolter rounds flying their way. On the other side of the battlefield, the Knight Errant and the assault squad charged the tactical squad on the other side, in front of them. They couldn't overwatch because they furied of the Legion the turn previously, and they got in with a hefty 8-inch charge. First combat for the Raven Guard on the Raven Guard turn 2, the Destroyers and the Emperor's Children collided. There were no challenges issued because none of the characters or independent characters in the squad were in range to issue or accept challenges. We're now on to Initiative Step 4 for the Raven Guard. The Destroyers swung with 23 attacks. They got 12 hits, scored 11 wounds, and the Emperor's Children lost 3 of their tactical marines.
Striking at Initiative 4 at the same time as the Destroyers, the 3 tactical marines that were slain still get to attack. So the Emperor's Children attacked with 22 attacks, managed to get 18 hits and a huge 7 wounds, 2 of which were rends, managing to kill 3 of the Destroyers. Striking at the same initiative step as the Destroyers, and this includes the 3 Marines who were slain by the Destroyers, the Emperor's Children Tactical Squad had 22 attacks, managed to get 18 hits and 7 wounds, 2 of which were rends, but because the Destroyers have void hardened armor, they ignored the effect of rending. I still managed to slay 2 of the Destroyers in that initiative step. Also striking at initiative step 4 is the Emperor's Children's Tactical Squad Sergeant. Because he didn't charge this turn, his Phoenix Spear is only AP 3, he still manages to kill 1 Destroyer with his attacks.
At initiative step 1, the Destroyer Sergeant swung his power axe, cleaving 2 of the Emperor's Children in half. Because he gets +1 strength for his power axe and Furious Charge, and they have Rad Grenades, it was instant killing 2 Emperor's Children Tactical Marines, so they didn't get their Feel No Pain.
At the end of the combat phase, the Raven Guard won the combat by 2 wounds. However, because Fulgrim is on the board, all Emperor's Children assaults gain +2 combat resolution, meaning the result was actually a draw. Combat between the Raven Guard Assault Squad and the Emperor's Children Tactical Squad. At Initiative Step 5, the Emperor's Children Legion Herald was unable to consolidate into combat to attack anyone.
Striking at Initiative 4, the Knight Errant swung with his power sword. He scored 4 hits, but only managed to get 2 wounds. Because he has instant death through force, he managed to slay 2 Marines outright. The Sergeant armed with the Raven's Talon and the Marine armed with a power sword managed to slay a further 2 Marines. Finishing off the Raven Guard attacks at Initiative 4, they had 15 attacks, 6 of them hit, 6 wounds, and there were 2 rends. However, the Emperor's Children made all of their Feel No Pain and armor saves.
Also attacking at Initiative Step 4, and including the 4 Emperor's Children Tactical Marines that were slain by the Raven Guard, the Emperor's Children hit back with 18 attacks, scoring 11 hits, managing to get a huge 4 rends plus 3 additional wounds. However, thanks to endurance that the Knights Errant managed to cast on the Assault Squad, only 1 of them died to those attacks.
Initiative 1 for the Raven Guard. A lowly Marine with a power axe stepped up, swung at the Emperor's Children. Unfortunately, he only hit once, and the wound he did cause was saved by the Emperor's Children Apothecary. The Emperor's Children lost combat by 1, but thanks to the Centurion's high leadership, they passed their leadership of 8 with a roll of an 8. End of turn 2 for the Raven Guard. It's been a good turn so far. The Assault Squad and the Destroyers have tied up the Tactical Squads, which means that we're going to be able to mince it out again in combat next turn. The Apothecaries on the Emperor's Children's side have done wonders in saving Marines. It could have been a lot different if those Apothecaries rolled worse.
Turn to movement phase for the Emperor's Children. The Phoenix Terminators with Fulgrim have moved up, angling for a long 10-inch charge against the Raven Guard Terminators. The Cacophony have shuffled round just to line up some shots against the Mordathan. The Palatine Blades have cautiously moved up a little bit and just cautious of the Raven Guard Dark Fury squad and the amount that they can move. Sadly, the Emperor's Children Tactical Support Squad failed to rally this turn and moved back another 7 inches. So that's a huge loss. Turn to Emperor's Children shooting phase. The Cacophony let loose with an explosive volley at the Mordathan squad. They managed to get 5 rends and 5 normal wounds that killed a huge 4 of the Mordathan. Luckily for the Raven Guard, they passed their biopsychic shock test, so no more of them exploded, and they proceeded to pass their pinning and their leadership check as well. Unfortunately for the Emperor's Children, they managed to roll 3 gets hot. The Apothecary saved 2 of those wounds, however the Sergeant died. Turn to Emperor's Children assault phase. Julius Kaiseron and his command squad successfully managed to get into the charge, joining the ongoing combat between the Destroyers and the Emperor's Children Tactical Squad. Over in the middle, Fulgrim and his Phoenix Terminators failed a 10-inch charge against the Raven Guard Terminators. They also managed to lose a Terminator to some pretty effective Overwatch fire from the Raven Guard Terminators. And there is one more ongoing combat here between the Raven Guard Assault Squad and the Emperor's Children Tactical Squad. Combat between the Emperor's Children Terminator Command Squad Tactical Squad against the Raven Guard Destroyers. The Emperor's Children Praetor issued a challenge and, striking at a mighty initiative 7, manages to kill the Destroyer Sergeant in the challenge and, through overspill, 1 more Destroyer.
At initiative step 4, the Raven Guard Destroyers struck back with 6 attacks, and they managed to kill 1 of the Emperor's Children Tactical Marines.
The Emperor's Children Tactical Squad Sergeant struck out with his Phoenix Spear. Again, this is just AP 3 because he hasn't charged this turn. He still manages to kill a Destroyer with his attacks. Also attacking at initiative step 4, the rest of the Emperor's Children Tactical Marines managed to slay the final Destroyer. The Tactical Squad rolled a 6 on their Consolidate move. Unfortunately, the Command Squad only rolled a 1. The next combat between the Emperor's Children Tactical Squad and the Raven Guard Assault Squad. The Raven Guard Knights Errant issued a challenge, which the Emperor's Children Tactical Sergeant bravely accepted. However, even though he was fighting at initiative step 5, he missed with both his attacks.
Also in the challenge is the Raven Guard Knight Errant. He struck at initiative 4 and he slew the Emperor's Child Sergeant. Also at initiative 4, the Sergeant and the Assault Squad Marine with a Power Sword struck, killing 2 more tactical Marines. The rest of the Raven Guard, Assault Marines struck at initiative 4 with their chain swords. They got 1 rend thanks to Cold in the Void, which led them to kill 4 more tactical Marines.
The Emperor's Children Tactical Squad, also attacking at initiative step 4, attacked with 20 attacks, hitting 14 times and getting 7 wounds, 2 of which were rends thanks to Cold in the Void. Overall, the Emperor's Children managed to kill 3 of the Raven Guard Assault Marines. At initiative step 1, the Emperor's Children Herald attacked with his Power Fist, managing to get 1 wound on the Raven Guard Tactical Squad. Thanks to endurance that the Raven Guard Knight Errant got off at the last psychic phase, the Raven Guard Marine passed his Feel No Pain and is still alive.
Also striking at initiative 1, the Raven Guard Assault Marine with a Power Axe hit and wounded the Herald. However, the Feel No Pain roll was successful.
At the end of the combat, the Emperor's Children lost by 3, thanks to the sergeant dying in a challenge and losing 7 members in combat. They proceeded to fail their leadership check despite having a reroll with the Vexilla, and the Raven Guard managed to successfully sweep the squad, so they are all dead.
The Raven Guard assault squad consolidated 6 inches towards their next target, which is the Cacophony.
Emperor's Children turned to summary. Overall, a mixed turn. Destroying the destroyers in combat has freed up the right flank for the Emperor's Children a good deal. However, losing the tactical squad on the left flank along with the Herald is a big loss and has opened the Cacophony up to a charge from the Assault Marines next turn.
Turn 3 movement phase for the Raven Guard. The assault squad on the right flank just moved up 12 inches, aiming for that objective. The Terminators and Corax moved towards the mix of Phoenix Terminators and Cacophony. The assault squad also came around the back of the Crane Bastion to try and get a short charge on them. The Assault Marines jumped out of cover. They're eyeing up their next target, or their first target, which is the Palatine Blades. Hopefully they can make that 6-inch charge. Psychic phase turn 3 for the Raven Guard. The Knight Errant cast Endurance and Force on himself. Raven Guard turn 3 shooting. The Raven Guard Terminators opened up into the Phoenix Terminators with their Volkites and Combi Bolters. One of the Volkites managed to take out a member of the squad, but there was no further wounds from defag relay. The Mordathan opened up into the Palatine Blades in the centre of the board. Unfortunately, they didn't manage to wound them. Raven Guard turn 3 assault phase. The Terminators managed to make their charge into the Phoenix Terminators. They didn't lose anyone to Overwatch. Corax and the Knight Errant with their assault squad managed to make their charges into the Cacophony. One of the assault squad Marines was taken out by Overwatch. The Dark Furies charged the Palatine Blades. They made their 8-inch charge, and no one was lost to Overwatch.
First combat between Fulgrim and the Phoenix Terminators and the Raven Guard Terminators. At initiative step 8, Fulgrim issued a challenge. However, the Raven Guard Terminator was not in a position to accept, and so Fulgrim attacked the rest of the squad. Unfortunately, he only struck once, but that one hit did kill one Terminator. The Phoenix Terminators are attacking at initiative step 4. 4 Phoenix Terminators were able to attack and managed to do 4 wounds. However, the Raven Guard saved all but one of them.
Striking at initiative step 4 for the Raven Guard, the Terminator Sergeant with his Raven's Talons and the rest of the squad with their Lightning Claws struck. They caused 7 wounds, which killed 3 Phoenix Terminators. Initiative step 1 for the Raven Guard, only 2 members of the Terminator squad with Power Fist could strike. They scored 4 wounds on Fulgrim, but he made them all on his 3-up invul. At the end of the combat, because of Fulgrim's +2 to combat resolution, the Raven Guard actually lost by 1, however they passed their leadership test, so we are stuck in combat. The next combat for the Raven Guard, Corax charged in, he got D3 Hammer of Wrath attacks at initiative 10, so he got 2 Hammer of Wrath. They are strength 5 AP 3, and they managed to kill one of the Cacophony. Corax chose to use the fighting style that gives him D3 extra attacks, so he gained 1 extra attack, which meant that he had 8 on the charge. He hit with 7 of them, he got 5 wounds, which managed to kill 4 of the Cacophony.
At initiative step 5, because he is an Emperor's Children, the Apothecary, being the only character in the combat, had to issue a challenge. The Raven Guard Knight Errant accepted it, and the Apothecary missed with both his attacks.
At initiative step 4 in the challenge, the Knight Errant, using his Force Sword with instant death, cut down the Emperor's Children Apothecary and 1 more of the Cacophony squad. Next, at initiative 4, the squad sergeant for the Raven Guard struck with his Raven's Talon, killing the last 2 Cacophony. They did strike back, but they failed to hit and wound. Corax managed to consolidate 3 inches, and the Knight Errant and his squad of Raven Guard Assault Marines consolidated 6.
Combat between the Emperor's Children Palatine Blades and the Raven Guard Dark Fury squad. At initiative step 6, the Emperor's Children champion issued a challenge that the Raven Guard Chosen of the Slain accepted. The Legion champion hit once with his Paragon Axe and managed to kill the Chosen of the Slain, but no one else. At initiative step 5, the Raven Guard Dark Furies struck back with 36 attacks, 25 hits thanks to the rerolls from the Chaplain. There were 7 rends and 16 other wounds at AP 3. This was enough to wipe the squad out. The Dark Furies managed to consolidate 2 inches. They're just sort of staying in the middle of the board so they can deal with the other threats around. That was a very successful turn for the Dark Furies, wiping out some key squads, taking out some of the more challenging combat units as well is absolutely huge. And we've managed to tie Fulgrim up. Emperor's Children turn 3 movement phase. The tactical support squad finally managed to rally and use their 3-inch move to form a conga line to shoot the Dark Furies in between the gap between the bunker and the machine. Kaiseron and his command squad have moved up to engage the Dark Furies in combat, and the tactical squad have stayed still, aiming for a fury at the Dark Furies. Emperor's Children turn 3 shooting phase. The tactical support squad snapshot with their Volkite calivers at the Dark Fury squad. They did manage to get 3 hits and 2 wounds. However, the Dark Furies saved them all on their Apothecary Feel No Pain. The tactical squad furied at the Dark Fury squad. There are 11 of them, 11 bolters shooting. Of those 22 shots, 10 of them hit. They caused 3 rends thanks to Cold in the Void and 3 other wounds, which managed to kill 2 of the Dark Furies. Emperor's Children turn 3 assault phase. Julius Kaiseron and his Terminator command squad issued a charge against the Dark Furies. Their Overwatch was ineffective, and they rolled a massive 10 inches on their charge, meaning they're in. Combat between the Praetor and the Terminator command squad and the Raven Guard Dark Furies. At initiative step 7, the Emperor's Children Praetor issued a challenge, which the Raven Guard Chaplain accepted. Unfortunately, the Emperor's Children Praetor managed to cause no wounds onto the Chaplain, his lightning claws being ineffective and bouncing off the artificer armor of the Chaplain. The Dark Fury struck back at initiative 4, their Raven's Talons causing 21 attacks against the Terminators. These attacks caused 4 rends and 10 other wounds, which clawed the Terminator to the ground. At initiative 1, the Power Fist armed Chaplain struck the Emperor's Children Praetor with 3 attacks, hitting him with three times, wounding him 3 times, and the Praetor failed his invulnerable save. At the end of the combat, the Dark Furies consolidated 6 inches towards the tactical squad. Combat between Fulgrim and the Phoenix Terminators and the Raven Guard Terminator squad. At initiative step 8, Fulgrim stepped up and issued a challenge, which the Raven Guard Terminator Sergeant accepted. Being 4 initiative steps higher than the Raven Guard Sergeant, Fulgrim gained 4 extra attacks, meaning a total of 9 attacks. He managed to do 5 wounds on the Terminator squad, which managed to kill the Sergeant and 3 other Terminators. At initiative step 4, the Phoenix Terminators attacked with their Phoenix Spears. They managed to cause 3 wounds against the Raven Guard Terminators. However, their armor, 2-up armor, saved all those wounds. The Raven Guard Power Fists struck back, killing off the remaining Phoenix Terminator and inflicting 1 wound on Fulgrim. However, because of his Gilded Panoply armor, he passed his armor save on a 6, which forced the Raven Guard to take a blind check, which they proceeded to fail, meaning they are weapon and ballistic skill 1 for the next turn. Emperor's Children won the combat by a difference of 4, and the Raven Guard Terminator squad failed their leadership check and were caught by Fulgrim's sweeping advance roll. Fulgrim only rolled a 1 for his consolidate and has moved towards his brother. Emperor's Children turn 3 summary. It was a great result with Fulgrim destroying the Terminators in the center of the board, freeing him up for combat next round. It was a tough decision with the Praetor and his command squad whether to charge the Dark Furies or not. However, the Emperor's Children get the most benefit on the charge, so even if it was sacrificial, it was the best call to make.
Raven Guard turn 4 movement phase. The Knight Errant and the Assault Squad split off from each other. The Knight Errant focusing on helping Corax take on Fulgrim. The Assault Squad trying to stop the Tactical Support Squad from taking the objective. The Dark Furies had a similar idea in mind to try and keep the Tactical Squad away from the objective. The Mordathan stayed still. They might try and line up some shots on the Tactical Squad or the Tactical Support Squad. The Assault Squad on the far end of the battlefield moved up to secure one of the objectives. Raven Guard turn 4 Psychic phase. The Knight Errant tried to manifest his psychic will to cast Endurance on himself, however he failed in this task. Raven Guard turn 4 Shooting phase. The Knight Errant and Corax both opened up into Fulgrim. The Knight Errant shooting his Paragon Bolter and the Corax shooting both his Architect pistols. Unfortunately, no wounds were caused. Continuing the Raven Guard shooting phase, the Mordathan opened up into the Tactical Squad on their left flank, killing one of them with a crack missile. Unfortunately, the sniper didn't even hit. The Assault Squad shot their bolt pistols into the Tactical Support Squad. However, they failed to kill any of the Marines. Raven Guard turn 4 Assault phase. The Knight Errant and Corax both declared separate charges against Fulgrim. He had to overwatch against the Knight Errant and failed to cause any wounds. They both made their charges. The Assault Squad charged into the Tactical Support Squad. However, they lost their sergeant to Overwatch. The Dark Furies charged the Tactical Squad. They couldn't Overwatch because they Fury of the Legion in the previous turn. The Assault Squad attacked the Tactical Support Squad, managing to kill 2 of them. The Tactical Support Squad struck back but failed to wound anyone. The Raven Guard won the combat by 2. However, because of Fulgrim's Sire of the Emperor's Children, their combat is drawn.
The combat between the Mordathan Squad and the Emperor's Children Tactical Squad. At Initiative Step 5, the Emperor's Children Tactical Sergeant issued a challenge because he has to, as the Legion rules, and the Raven Guard Legion Chaplain accepted. The Emperor's Children Tactical Sergeant attacked with his Phoenix Spear. Because he didn't charge, this is only AP 3, and he failed to cause any wounds on the Chaplain.
At Initiative Step 5, for the Raven Guard, the Dark Furies hit with 23 attacks, causing 16 wounds, which killed the squad completely. After that massive slaughter of the Tactical Squad, the Dark Furies consolidated 4 inches. And at Initiative Step 10 of this combat between Fulgrim, Corax and the Knight Errant, Corax charged in and got 2 Hammer of Wrath attacks. He managed to cause a single wound on Fulgrim. At Initiative 8, Corax chose to do his Shadow Walk fighting style, which imposes a -1 penalty to hit rolls on enemy models in base contact with him. He had 7 attacks. He hit with 1 of them, and he did wound, but Fulgrim made his invul save.
Also at Initiative Step 8, Fulgrim attacked Corax with the Blade of the Lair. He managed to cause 1 wound on Corax, who proceeded to fail his invul save, taking that wound.
The Knight Errant struck at Fulgrim with his Mastercrafted Power Sword, missing all of his attacks. The Raven Guard lost the combat. However, because Corax is fearless, he stayed in, and the Knight Errant passed his leadership test.
Emperor's Children turn 4 Assault phase. Because all of the Emperor's Children units are tied up in combat, there was no movement or shooting to be had. So we started the combat with the fight between the Assault Squad and the Emperor's Children Tactical Support Squad. At Initiative Step 4, the Emperor's Children Tactical Support Squad Sergeant issued a challenge, which the Raven Guard Apothecary accepted. The Legion Tactical Support Squad Sergeant failed to wound the Apothecary with his attacks. At Initiative Step 4, the remaining 4 Emperor's Children Tactical Support Squad Legionaries attacked. Thanks to Cold and the Void, they managed to get 1 rend against the Assault Squad, killing off the 1 Assault Marine with a Power Sword.
The Apothecary struck back in the challenge, scoring a rending wound on the Sergeant, which killed him. The remaining member of the Assault Squad again struck the Tactical Support Squad, rended again, which killed another member. Because of Fulgrim being on the board, it was a drawn combat.
At Initiative Step 8, Fulgrim attacked Corax in the challenge. Because Corax didn't charge this turn, he doesn't get +1 initiative, meaning Fulgrim gets plus an extra attack thanks to his fighting. This means he has 6 attacks against Corax in the challenge. He only managed to hit twice with his attacks, causing 2 wounds on Corax, who failed both of those invulnerable saves.
Corax struck back at initiative 7, 6 attacks, only hitting with 1. However, this 1 attack did wound Fulgrim, who failed his invul save. At initiative step 4, the Knight Errant missed all of his attacks again against Fulgrim.
Combat resolution for this fight. Fulgrim caused 1 extra wound against the Raven Guard, adding on his +2 combat resolution for his Sire of the Emperor's Children. He won the combat by 3. Corax is fearless, so he's not going anywhere, and the Knight Errant passed his leadership check.
At the end of the assault phase, Fulgrim made his It Will Not Die roll, gaining a wound back. Corax managed to hit and run away from the combat, moving 5 inches. Raven Guard, turn 5 movement phase. Corax has moved 5 inches back towards the combat, and the Dark Furies have moved up to support the combat against Fulgrim. Turn 5 psychic phase for the Raven Guard. The Knight Errant managed to cast Endurance on himself, giving himself Eternal Warrior, 4-up Feel No Pain, and Relentless. Turn 5 Raven Guard shooting phase. The only thing that happened was the Dark Furies ran 6 inches. Raven Guard turn 5 combat phase. The combat between the Apothecary and the Tactical Support Squad was a draw. At initiative step 10, Corax caused 3 Hammer of Wrath hits on Fulgrim. However, they failed to wound him. He hit him with 7 attacks at initiative step 8. He hit with 5 of them. He wounded with 4, however, Fulgrim made all of his invul saves.
Also at initiative step 8, Fulgrim struck with the Blade of the Lair. He had 5 attacks against Corax. He only hit once, successfully wounded Corax, however Corax passed his invulnerable save.
The Knight Errant struck back with 3 attacks. He hit with 2 of them, wounded with 1, however Fulgrim made his armor save. The Raven Guard lost combat by 2, however because Corax is fearless, he's stuck into combat, and the Knight Errant passed his leadership test. Corax then made his It Will Not Die, so he is at 4 wounds.
Emperor's Children turn 5 assault phase. As both of the Emperor's Children units are locked in combat, there was no movement or shooting phase. At the start of the combat phase, the Legion Tactical Support Squad managed to wipe the Raven Guard Apothecary, chasing them down thanks to the Crusader rule, giving them an extra D3 to their sweeping. They rolled a 3-inch move thanks to on their consolidation, meaning they've moved up onto the objective. At initiative step 8, Fulgrim went again, once more 1 step higher than Corax, so he was attacking with 6 attacks. He hit 4 times, wounding Corax 2 times, and Corax failed both those invulnerable saves, meaning he is down to 2 wounds.
Corax struck back with 6 attacks, hitting with 2 of them, wounding with both, and Fulgrim failed 1 of his invul saves. The Knight Errant struck Fulgrim again, however he failed to wound him.
Combat resolution for the fight between the Primarchs and the Knights Errant. Fulgrim caused 2 wounds on Corax, and with his +2 combat resolution, thanks to his Sire of the Emperor's Children, won the combat by 4. Corax is fearless, and the Knight Errant passed his leadership check, meaning he stayed in. Corax decided to hit and run, moving 13 inches out of combat, and Fulgrim managed to reclaim 1 wound, thanks to It Will Not Die.
Raven Guard turn 6 movement phase. Corax and the Dark Furies have moved in to surround Fulgrim in the combat with the Knight Errant. The Mordathan are lining up their shots with the Tactical Support Squad on the other side of the board. Turn 6 psychic phase for the Raven Guard. The Knight Errant has cast Endurance on Corax, giving him Eternal Warrior, Relentless, and the most crucial thing, a 4-up Feel No Pain. Turn 6 shooting phase for the Raven Guard. The Mordathan shot across the board at the Tactical Support Squad, killing 2 of the members of the squad. They failed their morale and they fled off of the objective. Turn 6 combat phase for the Raven Guard. The Dark Furies and Corax made their charges into Fulgrim. Corax got 3 Hammer of Wrath hits. causing 1 wound. However, Fulgrim made his armor save. At initiative step 8, Korax struck with 7 attacks, hitting with 5 of them, wounding with 5 of them. However, Fulgrim made all of his invulnerable saves.
At initiative step 8, Fulgrim attacked Korax in the challenge. He had 5 attacks, 2 of which hit, causing 1 wound on Korax. Korax then failed his invul save and his 4-up feel no pain, meaning he's down to 1 wound.
The Dark Fury struck next at initiative 5 with 28 attacks. They hit 22 times. They got 9 rends and 5 normal wounds. Fulgrim made the 5 normal wounds. However, the rends cut through his armor and reduced him to 1 wound. At initiative step 4, the knight hit with 3 of his attacks. However, he failed to wound Fulgrim. Striking at initiative step 1 was the chaplain with his power fist. He hit Fulgrim twice and caused 2 wounds. However, Fulgrim made both on his invulnerable save. At the end of combat, Fulgrim lost the combat by a difference of 1. However, he's fearless, so he stays put. At the end of the turn 6 for the Raven Guard, Korax failed his It Will Not Die save, so it still leaves him on one wound. That was a really crucial turn for the Raven Guard, mopping up some of the stray units, and hopefully we can finish Fulgrim off in the Emperor's Children turn 6. Also, the Raven Guard Assault Squad on the other side of the battlefield have secured 1 objective for the War of Lies objectives.
Emperor's Children, turn 6. The lone tactical support marine passes leadership check and has rallied, but he is too far from an objective to do anything now. With no shooting to have, we'll move on to Emperor's Children, turn 6 assault phase. Initiative step 8 with Fulgrim hitting first. Fulgrim attacked with 6 attacks against Korax. He managed to hit twice, however, he failed to cause a single wound.
Korax struck back at initiative 7. He hit with 3 of his 6 attacks. He scored 2 wounds on Fulgrim and he failed 1 of his invulnerable saves, which meant that Korax had killed Fulgrim. That's it for the end of the game. We're going to go and have a look at the victory points and we'll see you in a bit.
Emperor's Children Raven Guard met in the crucible of war. And I have to say it was pretty conclusive.
Was it in the end?
Let's go straight to the victory points because it was quite a devastating game, really. The Emperor's Children, I think it's fair. We'll start with you. You know, at the beginning of the game, I didn't think you'd had it, right? And then mid-game, I thought, hang on a minute, he's really turning this around.
But the opening few turns of shooting, I think, were really bloody. Like forcing the assault marines to flee and stuff was pretty key, but just couldn't pull off once they got stuck in. That was it.
It was a bit tricky, and your victory points reflect that because you killed 3 squads, scoring you 3 victory points, but you just couldn't finish off those 1 or 2 models to pip a few more. Yeah. So it was really unfortunate. But the Emperor's Children ended up with a death toll of 3, so not a bad score. However, the dirty Raven Guard, there were so many points.
Dirty Raven Guard.
Oh, you need a dice because you have a special thing.
I've got a dice.
We'll start from the top. Raven Guard got +1 for killing the Emperor's Children Herald.
Yeah, so my lovely banners trampled into dust, so that's a victory point for that.
10 victory points for death toll, unbelievable. +1 for Slay the Warlord. Now, because of your Knight Errant, you achieved his objective.
Yeah, his oath of moment was to kill Fulgrim. Or not for him to kill Fulgrim, but Fulgrim had to be slain by the end of the game. And you get 3 victory points for
that. Was Kingslayer. He got 3 points for that. You got 1 point for price of failure for killing Fulgrim.
Yeah.
Good man. And then you on your War of Lies chart, you managed an objective at the end of the game. So you roll a D3. What we got? Yeah. Go on. What we got? It's a 2. Oh, you gain another point.
Just to really rub it in there. One more.
Salt in the wound.
That is unbelievable. Final score, 17 for the Raven Guard and 3 for the Emperor's Children. Unbelievable.
Pretty brutal.
Yeah, it is.
Good game.
Yeah, well done. One man survived, so you can come back from that.
One model survived.
He's hunkering behind a container.
Yeah. He'll come back, he knows. Yeah.
Let's start with Emperor's Children. Tell me about your game.
I'm kind of happy with how it went. I think there were a couple of crucial things. My big 20-man tactical blobs were really good. First couple of turns, getting some Furies off. But once they got stuck into combat, that was a huge amount of firepower I lost. And then just got munched through. My apothecaries, as ever, outperformed.
Oh man.
The number of Feel No Pains that were saved was incredible. They really do their job in my army, mainly because I fail so many armor saves. So
so good at rolling 5s and 6s for those Feel No Pains.
Yeah.
It was unreal.
So pretty happy with that. And once again, Cacophony, another.
Oh man.
Destroying half an assault squad was pretty conclusive as well. So pretty happy. Just the Dark Furies, they're such a glass cannon, but on the charge, they're absolutely brutal and just cut through about half my army, I think, in the end there.
They did quite well, didn't they?
Yeah, people look at them and they think, oh, they're not that survivable. They're a bit they're a bit weak.
Sure.
And not that durable, but then they just whirlwind through everything like a Tasmanian devil and just like tear it all up.
But it's the Apothecary and the Chaplain that really boost that squad, don't it?
Yeah, I normally don't run a Chaplain in them because of the
it's too good. But I tell you, they performed so well and they moved loads around the board, deleted squads of the game, and then finally put the boot in on Fulgrim and right at the end there.
Yeah.
You know, they did really well. They tend to get target priority and get shot quite early.
Yeah.
I appreciate this game because we were playing infantry. The ranges were quite short, which made for a really interesting game. They didn't get pipped out by a Sakaran or a Demolisher cannon or something else. So I think they did really well.
Yeah, I think your sort of having your massive tactical squads and your Cacophony meant that I had to really move really quickly to try and get up in your face. Otherwise, I was just going to sit there and get shot for 5 turns. So
I loved the large Terminator squads on both sides.
Cool. Yeah.
I think your Renegade did. Your Renegade did really well. Again, the Phoenix Spears and the Emperor's Children, that not being APT all the time really hampered them.
Yeah, as you saw, like not on the charge, they're just not going to do anything. They're just sort of poking, but nothing's going to get through. It's a shame when they do charge. They can be pretty devastating. Because they're such high initiative as well on the charge. Yeah. But catch them off like Tom did there, then they're never gonna earn their points back.
With both our armies, because I get Furious Charge or Jump Infantry and Terminator get Furious Charge, you gain bonuses when you charge. When we play, it's very much whoever charges in a combat will normally be the one that comes out on top.
Sure, yeah.
Because the other one doesn't get any of their bonuses, so they're just hitting on 4s, wounding on 4s with no other stat boosts. So it normally comes down to when Jamie and I play. If you charge, you normally come out on top.
Yeah. So that's probably fair.
But in the end, we had a really big infantry game. There was lots of exchanges between the two units, and those key close combat units were really, really key in this game, I think. But also, when we got Primarch on Primarch, your to hit rolls were pretty terrible, I think, on both sides.
Yeah, they're pretty appalling.
Yeah.
Not till your final turn, like 4 wounds in one.
Yeah. I think those rolling for the Primarchs was just. It was just so bad.
But you used your fighting stance to really good advantage, like forcing you from a 3 up to a 4 up.
Yeah, I think that one of the best things about Corax is, 1, he can hit and run.
Sure.
2, he can choose his fighting style. So he can either become like wound on 5s or gain, I think it's +3 to his vehicle damage. So he essentially becomes strength 10 against vehicles. He can impose -1 to hit people who are attacking him, or he gets D3 extra attacks. It's just having that range means that when you go up against someone like Fulgrim, you just say, well, you can't hit me on 3s anymore.
Yeah, that's really good because you were rolling tons of 3s and they just weren't quite getting there, were they?
Through.
So
it's very cool. I really enjoyed it, and I think the Cold and the Void it worked really well. It wasn't only shooting; it was close combat attack, were rending. You have the Terminators to mitigate against that as well, so they weren't getting the rending attacks. But I think it worked.
Yeah, no Artificer on Sergeants and things made it a bit more deadly. It really made you think about moving through because you knew that squads would just die quite easily to that rending.
So the tactical squads, your tactical squads with the Fury of the Legion and the Cacophony.
Yeah.
Whenever 6s to wound were rolled, it's like, oh well, that's a dead guy. Peel him off. Don't even get a save. Yeah. So the Cold and the Void definitely made it. It also made it a bit more fast paced because moving 80 models, 80 infantry models, takes ages. But when you're peeling them off because everything's rending, it's sped up.
Yeah.
So it was brilliant fun.
Plenty died, which is what you want from a game. Lots of stuff moved, shot, and died. I mean, that's a cool game. In my book.
Yeah, exactly.
More
what you want.
The Emperor's Children died,
but not all of them.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
That one lowly Marine stuck around.
You left him alive so we could run back and tell his colleagues they got slaughtered, right?
Yeah,
that's it. I really enjoyed that game, and I really hope you did too. Now we've got a few mentions to talk about. You're from the Mutant Snake Eyes. Tell us what that is all about.
Well, it's just an Instagram and blog that we put together. So there's a third member, which is my brother Stuart, and the three of us have been gaming and in the hobby for ages, years, and so we thought we'd put something together to show off all the sort of stuff we do. So Heresy, some old school 8th Ed Warhammer Fantasy,
nice,
a bit of back in the day of 54mm Inquisitor.
Okay,
so it's just a sort of smorgasbord of hobby stuff. There's some board games and things of the kind of fun things that we do.
It's just stuff that we nerd out on.
Yeah,
we just play
together.
But we've got the blog where we write up like battle reports and things like that, or
some
conversion work we do.
Great.
And how we run our armies, like tactics on how we run our armies and things like that. So,
all right. Well, I'll pop a link in the description below, so if you guys want to go onto that and have a look. There is also an Instagram for you guys as well.
Yeah. So Mutant Snake Eyes, all one word, all lowercase, should pop up.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
nice and easy.
And we get to display all of our
Stuff.
all of our painting.
Yeah.
It's
So
good.
all of our things.
Yeah.
The channel is also Instagram as well, so please go there and check us out. But if you're watching this, you probably already know that, but that's fine. I've taken a ton of photos from today's game, so they will be released on the Facebook page as always. Gents, final thoughts.
Buy more Dark Furies.
That's a good call.
My plasma cannons would have been quite useful.
A quick mention about that. When we get guys on the channel, we probably have 3 or 4 iterations of lists that come backwards and forwards. And I remember that your list had an obscene amount of plasma in it.
I was pulling together all the infantry that I had, and painted, and so that includes a 10-man plasma gun team and a 10-man plasma cannon team. But then we figured that'd be a bit ridiculous to bring when there's no artificer and no vehicles for people to hide in. So I brought in my Cacophony and I buffed up my tactical squads to 20-man instead, because I figured that's a bit more fun to watch than just hitting on 3s, killing on 2s, and would be a bit boring, I think.
I think it worked.
No, it was really good.
It might have delivered you a victory, no doubt.
But at what cost, really? At what cost?
Yeah, it would have been a very quick game if you'd have just sat and peppering me with plasma. But no, I that game was brilliant. I think
really good.
The combination of having all infantry, cold in the void, and no artificer armor on squad sergeants just made a huge difference to the speed of the game. And I think it was, and also you got to see the Primarchs mince
a couple of other things.
A couple of other things, and then get stuck into each other. So it was a really good game. I really enjoyed it.
Good. And if you play a all infantry game or Centurion game, I guess you want to call it, but with infantry at home, and you're on Instagram or whatever, just tag us in there and we'll have a look at it. And it'd be great to see other people playing infantry, because it is a lot of fun. It's a bit of a ball ache because I've got to move lots of stuff, but it is a bit fun.
Yeah, because normally it's a smaller game as well.
It is.
Infantry.
3K was a bit of a slog, but it's good.
It was good.
It was ballsy. It was definitely out there doing 3K infantry, but it was great fun. It was just a lot of fun to just kill stuff.
It was.
So.
I really hope you've enjoyed this game. Gents, I've had an absolute blast today.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, it was good fun.
My pleasure. So, hopefully, we'll get you back.
Definitely. Yeah.
We'll have to talk to the third member, see if we can get him on.
We'll work something out.
Sounds so mysterious.
Yeah, the third member.
The financier, maybe, I don't know. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next game.